She was a great hero on the path of truth, the queen of the Sufis. Even great awliya like Hasan al-Basri learned from her. She was a rare person. Even kings bowed to her and asked for forgiveness. It is not easy to understand or talk about her. Only those who receive some light from her world can truly know her. She was a servant known by the heavens. Her life went from slave markets to the sky, from the chains of masters to the freedom of love. The day wild deer gathered around her in peace, and the night the Kaaba moved toward her. This is not just a story. This is the journey of a heart that belonged fully to Allah. She didn't worship Allah because she wanted paradise. She didn't worship Him because she feared hell. She worshipped only because she loved Him. In this video, we tell the extraordinary life of Rabia Al Adawiyya. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more stories about Islamic scholars and saints. She lived during the 1st and 2nd centuries of the Hijri calendar. The way she came into this world was also very unique. This pearl-like lady was born in a small hut in Basra. Her father had nothing, only that broken hut, but he was a man whose heart was filled with the light of knowledge. Allah had blessed him with faith, contentment, worship and gratitude. People called him the devout man, Abid. His real name was Ismail. He truly lived up to that title. He spent his life in worship, like a candle burning day and night, using every breath to remember and thank Allah. And now a child was being born to this special man. It was a freezing cold night with snow and wind cutting through the air. They had no wood to make a fire and no candle to light the room. Despite this harsh cold and poverty, the woman was about to give birth. The father was very sad and the mother cried. Her warm tears dropped onto the cold floor. She said to her husband, "Please go to the neighbor and ask for a little oil for our lamp." Ismail had promised never to ask anything from people, but still went out. He reached a neighbor's door in the dark and was about to knock, but he couldn't do it. He returned home and told his wife. They didn't open the door. The poor woman, weak, cold and hopeless, cried herself to sleep. Sometimes sleep takes you away from this world. After a while, she saw a dream. A blessed man, whose face shined like the sun, appeared before her. It was none other than the messenger of Allah, peace be upon him. He asked her, "Why are you crying?" Before she could answer, he continued, "Do not be sad. The girl you are about to give birth to will be one of the best in my nation. She will wear the crown of Alif on her head. Tell your husband to go to the governor of Basra. Say to him, you used to send 100 salawat, prayers, on the Prophet every night, but one night you forgot. Now, as compensation, you must give us 400 dinars. That same night, the governor of Basra also had a dream. He was told, "Tomorrow, a guest will come to you. Listen to him and help him." The woman woke up with a light shining on her face. She called to her husband with joy, "Dear husband, we are saved. I saw the messenger of Allah in my dream. Praise be to Allah. Go quickly to the governor and tell him our situation." Ismail wrote the message on a piece of paper and went to the governor's palace. The governor was already waiting for the guest he saw in his dream. When he heard someone at the door, he ordered, "Open the doors quickly and bring him to me." Ismail went in and gave the paper to the governor, saying, "This message comes from a great place. Here, read it." The governor read it, began to cry deeply, and said, "O lucky man, for the sake of the Prophet, I give you 12,000 gold coins." And he placed the coins in Ismail's hands. This is how Rabia came into the world, with a miracle. Her poor father flew home like a bird from happiness. Through his patience and trust in Allah, he was rewarded in a way no one could imagine. Little Rabia came into the world with many blessings. She was like a bundle of light, growing under the protection of the saints, slowly becoming like a young tree. Every part of her body reflected nobility and faith. She was as beautiful as a sunlit tulip. Anyone who saw her was amazed by her good character. It was impossible not to be. Her manners, her movements, her way of speaking, everything about her was special. Time was passing quickly. Days followed nights, and nothing in the world stayed the same. Some days felt like summer, some like winter. Some days were full of both sweet joys and bitter pain. The real strength was in accepting both sweetness and bitterness the same, even if it was poison, drinking it like it was water of life, and showing loyalty to Allah without a single doubt. Just like the world does not stay the same, Rabia's life also changed. When she was about to enter adulthood, her father passed away. Then soon after, her mother passed away too. Rabia was left alone with her sisters. All the pain of this temporary world came crashing down on her small shoulders, being an orphan, poor, alone, and full of sorrow. The four young girls thought deeply, "What will we do now?" Then they made a decision full of hope and faith. "We will work and survive. Allah never leaves any of his creatures without food." At first, they managed on their own, but trouble had already come to their lives. A terrible famine spread through Basra. People stopped caring about each other. Then, a cruel man captured the four sisters and took them to the slave market. He sold each one to a different man. The sisters were separated, crying heavily, without passing through suffering, without tasting hardship. How can anyone find peace? Rabia also began her journey through hardship. From now on, she would say, "My palace is the land of pain." Rabia worked for her new master during the day and worshipped Allah at night. One day, her master sent her on an errand. While walking, Rabia fell. She leaned on her hand, placed her face on the ground, picked up the hot sand, and began to pray with tears and love. "O my Creator, O Helper of the helpless, I am an orphan living in pain. I am tied with the chains of slavery. I can be patient with every sadness, but there is one pain that burns my heart. I fear it so much. Are you pleased with me?" At that moment, a voice filled with light came to her. "O Rabia, I will raise you to such a high level that even the angels in the sky will admire you." Rabia, with her deer-like eyes, trembled like a wounded bird. The smell of divine love filled her heart. She worshipped even more than before. She fasted during the day and prayed all night. Like a candle next to the prayer niche, she grew up in the house of worship. Her heart carried the wounds of longing. It was a quiet night, full of moonlight. Flowers were sleeping in the garden, and birds were asleep in their nests. But one person was awake, crying and praying in the deep hours of the night. That person was none other than Rabia. She prayed with such joy and love that even the heart of the night trembled. Without stopping, she cried out, "O my Lord, I have given my heart to you, but you made me a slave to a human. If it were up to me, I would never leave your worship for even a moment." Her master, who had bought her as a slave, heard her cries. He looked through the keyhole and saw Rabia in prostration, her face on the ground before Allah. She was saying over and over, "O Allah, I am full of sorrow, I am crying, I am in need. Help me." Above her head was a shining lamp. A lamp that was not hanging from anything, it was floating in the air. The light around her was so bright it dazzled the eyes, but the man who saw this incredible scene trembled with awe and quietly went back to his room. The next day he called Rabia and said, "O mirror of joy, I offer you two choices. If you wish, become the lady of this house. I will marry you. But if you don't want that, I will set you free. Tell me, what do you want?" Rabia, like a wounded bird, softly replied, "I want to be free. I don't want anything to come between me and my Lord. I want to worship him as I wish." "Then, O Rabia, you are free now." And with that, the chains around her soul were broken. That pure-hearted woman turned away from wealth, marriage, palaces, and silk. She chose a small hut instead. She was now stepping into a whole new world. In that poor and tiny hut, she began worshipping her Lord again, day and night. The scent of divine love had filled her soul, and her inner eyes were full of wisdom. Some nights she prayed 1,000 units of salah. She had no other goal but Allah's love and approval. Often she would cry and say, "But you are eternal. I didn't just begin to love you now. I loved you from the beginning, from the time of Alastu bi Rabbikum." Some nights, after the night prayer, she would climb to the roof of her hut. She looked at the moon and stars and lost herself in deep thought and longing. She whispered, "O Allah, the stars are shining, the eyes are asleep. Kings and sultans have shut their doors. Everyone is with their beloved, and I, once again, stand before you." Her nights were always like this, and when the day came, she would cry out again with a new feeling, "O Allah, another night has passed. Did you accept it from me? If I knew that you were pleased with me, how happy I would be. Please, O Allah, make this heart, burning with your love, rejoice." To love is like fighting a lion. It is not easy. Many people see with their eyes, but their hearts are asleep. And some, though their eyes are closed, have hearts that are awake. One day, a respected man came to her and said, "O blessed Rabia, for the sake of Allah, will you teach me even one letter of your wisdom and good manners?" A light sparkled on Rabia's face as she replied, "Since the day I was born, I have never held two coins in one hand. I feared that having them together might pull me away from the path and love of my Lord." On another day, Sufyan, one of the great saints, was with her. He raised his hands and prayed, "O Allah, the helper of all, I ask you for peace." Rabia's eyes filled with tears and she began to sob. Sufyan asked, "O Rabia, why are you crying?" Rabia, with sorrow in her voice, said, "You made me cry." Sufyan was surprised. "Me? How?" Rabia said, "O Sufyan, don't you know that true peace from this world comes only by leaving it? But you are still full of it, so how can you ask for peace while holding on to the world?" Only a jeweler knows the value of a jewel, and Sufyan knew her worth. He asked her again, "Who is the closest to Allah among those seeking him?" Rabia answered quickly, "Those who take no one but Allah as their friend and purpose, neither in this world nor the next." One day, Rabia was overwhelmed by grief. A friend visited and found her crying with tears streaming from her eyes. The friend was shocked. "You who wants nothing from the world, why are you crying, O sweet and graceful Rabia? You are so close to Allah." Rabia, drowning in tears, replied, "I fear separation. What if, when death comes, my Lord says to me, 'O Rabia, we do not need you'? What will I do then?" Sufyan, a man loved by the gardens of wisdom, was once again having a deep conversation with Rabia about the secrets of this world and beyond. At one point he said, "I feel such sorrow, such deep sorrow." Then Rabia's lips opened gently like blooming poppies. "That's not true. If you were truly sorrowful, you wouldn't enjoy happiness." She added, "I am sad not because I carry sorrow, but because I don't feel it." Sufyan had no words left. He was speechless. When the scent of divine love truly fills someone's heart, there's no turning back. Rabia had reached that point. She was sailing her soul like a small boat across the ocean of divine love. One night, Her heart burning with love, she raised her hands to the heavens and prayed, "If you don't show me your face, I will cry and complain only to you, because is this how a friend treats a friend?" In that moment, she felt a divine light enter her heart. A voice touched her soul. "O gentle one, do not think badly." Suddenly she cried out from deep pain, "Never! How could I think badly of you? I return to you again. You are all I want." The bird of love does not nest in every tree. Only those in love truly understand a lover's heart. Sufyan later said, "I once stayed with Rabia for one full day and night. While speaking of spiritual mysteries, I forgot she was a woman and I was a man. After our talk ended, I realized how poor I was and how she was like a queen walking barefoot among stones. This pearl-like woman was blessed with such spiritual joy. Her little hut was not just a hut, it was like the Kaaba of lovers. The only words spoken there were about love and eternity. One day someone who admired her purity came and asked, "O wise lady, where have you come from and where are you going?" Rabia smiled softly and said, "I came from the eternal world, and I am going back to the eternal one." The man was still confused and asked again, "What do you do in this world?" She answered, "I know I am temporary. That's why I walk around in sorrow and longing. I only desire Allah." The man asked one more question. "So you love the Most High and consider the devil your enemy, right?" Rabia paused, looking at him. She was surprised by the question. It was a pity that the devil had still not submitted to Allah. With a painful sigh, she replied, "I love Allah, truly love my Lord, but I do not call the devil my enemy. Allah's love has filled my heart so fully that there is no room left for hatred of the devil." It was a spring day, birds spreading wings, roses blooming in many colors. Rabia was in her little hut, deep in thought, in the highest realm of reflection. Secrets and wisdom were constantly appearing in the mirror of her heart. At some point, her helper, who loved her very much and never left her side, stepped outside. The outside world was beautiful that day. She called out to Rabia, "Come outside and see what the Creator has made." Rabia replied, "You come inside and see the Creator himself. His love has filled my mind so completely that I have no time to look at what he created." That night was peaceful and silent. A thief happened to pass by Rabia's house. He entered, thinking he could steal something. He searched the place thoroughly, but what could the poor woman possibly have? All he found was a clay bowl. He grabbed it and walked toward the door. But, strangely, the door he had entered through was no longer there. The thief was stunned. "How can this be?" The door had vanished. In panic, he dropped the bowl, and the door reappeared. He reached for the bowl again, and the door disappeared once more, turning into a solid wall. Every time he let go of the bowl, the path lit up and the door returned. But whenever he touched it, the door vanished again. As the thief stood there, trembling with fear and amazement, a voice came from the unseen, powerful enough to shake the heart. "You don't need to try anymore. Rabia has been fully devoted to us for many years. She is one of our chosen servants. Right now, she is asleep. But even in her sleep, her friend waits for her. Go away. There is no share for you here." The thief, filled with terror, ran out like an arrow into the darkness and vanished. That moon-faced, great-hearted Rabia. One day, a man came to her looking sad and wrapped a cloth around his head. Rabia asked, "Why are you wearing that cloth?" The man replied, "I have a terrible headache." "How old are you?" she asked. 30. "And in these 30 years, you were healthy all the time. Did you ever once tie a cloth on your head to thank Allah? Now you're sick for just a few days and wrap your head in complaint." The man had no answer. Instead, he began to throw dust over his head in regret. Another man, lost in his path, once entered Rabia's small hut during the night, but he couldn't find anything to steal. As he turned to leave, Rabia called out, "Oh man, don't leave empty-handed if you have any sense." The thief frowned and said sadly, "But I didn't find anything." Rabia responded, "Poor man, don't go with nothing. Take this water and make ablution, then pray 2 units of salah before you go. Maybe your path will change." The thief did as she said. Rabia, holding the scent of divine love in her pure heart, lifted her hands and prayed, "O Allah, my Lord, this man found nothing to take from my home, so I sent him to your door. Please don't hold back your mercy and grace from him." The man went into prayer. During sujood, he asked Allah for forgiveness, sobbing through the night. At dawn, Rabia asked, "O poor man, how was your night?" The man raised his teary eyes and answered slowly, "It was blessed. I stood before my Lord with all my sins, and He accepted me. He gave me the pearl of peace in my heart. This is how it is. Great ones forgive the small ones. No one goes to his door and returns empty-handed." Rabia cried out with joy, "Oh hunter, now that's the kind of gazelle you should catch." Then she lifted her hands and said, "O most merciful Lord, this man stood at your door just a few hours and you accepted him. What about me, your servant? Have you accepted me too?" At that moment, a voice echoed in her soul. "We accepted him for your sake." Rabia was a woman whose love for Allah could not be measured. One day, the great scholar Sufyan asked her, "O Rabia, what is the truth of faith?" Rabia, with the softness of a lovebird, said, "O Sufyan, I do not worship Allah out of fear of hell or desire for paradise. If I did, what would make me different from a servant working only for pay? I worship him because I love him and long for him. Where there are tears, there is mercy." One day, Rabia was passing by the home of Hasan al-Basri. Who knows what sorrow was in her heart? The tears from his eyes had fallen on Rabia's face. She thought it had started to rain. When she looked up, she saw Hasan al-Basri crying. Her heart trembled like a little bird, and she said, "Hide your tears so people won't see them, and you'll be safe from showing off." These words stayed in Hasan al-Basri's heart like a seed. Later, by the river Tigris, he met Rabia again. They talked deeply about the secrets of this world and the next. As the afternoon prayer approached, Hasan said, "O Rabia, it's time for Salah." He placed his prayer mat on the water and began to pray. He said the opening takbir, but Rabia, even more advanced in spirit, threw her prayer mat into the air and began praying while floating in the sky. When the prayer ended, she leaned toward the water and asked, "O Master, is your prayer finished?" Hasan replied, "Yes." Rabia smiled like a flower and said, "O Hasan, what you did, fish can do. What I did, birds can do. But true lovers of Allah never truly finish their prayer. They are always in His presence. So let's come down from sky and water and unite in Allah's love." The real miracle is not walking on water or flying in the sky. The real miracle is rising above both. Hasan al-Basri felt a deep fire fall into his heart and said, "O flower of purity, you've shaken my soul so deeply." Rabia's lips gently moved and she said, "O Hasan, where is the heart? We don't even have that anymore." Fighting the lion of divine love is not something everyone can do. Rabia was achieving things so great that even the mind would be left in awe. She was swimming in a sea so deep that even reason itself would be amazed. Many nights she would burn like a headless candle and pray, "O Lord who knows all secrets, fix the worldly matters of your enemies and give your true friends their wishes for the hereafter. As for me, I am free from both. If I lose in this world and also in the next, but if I can be close to you for even a moment, I have no sorrow. My entire struggle is for you." Her love, her truthfulness, and her sincerity were like no other. One day, Malik ibn Dinar, a hero of the Sufi path, came to visit her. Rabia was weak and sick, lying on an old mat. Her pillow was a simple brick. She drank from a clay bowl and made ablution from the same. This sight deeply saddened Malik. He said, "O lady of many virtues, I know wealthy people. If you wish, I can bring you a proper bed and a warm blanket." Rabia looked at him gently, like a doe-eyed deer, and said, "O Malik, does the Creator know my condition or not?" "Of course he does," Malik replied. "Then why do you worry? Whatever he wants, we want the same." Malik's eyes filled with tears. "O my Lord, is this how you treat your friends?" "Yes. To reach closeness with Allah, one must pass through seas of fire, eat bitter meals, and wrestle with lions. If it were easy to reach him, the word love would never have existed in this world. In this world, many desire beauty, but not everyone can attain it." One day, the great scholar Hasan al-Basri came to Rabia and said, "O mirror of joy, would you consider marrying me and becoming my wife?" Rabia's lips lit up with a soft smile. "O Hasan, marriage is for those who have a body, but I no longer have one." Hasan asked, "How did you lose your sense of self?" She replied, "I lost myself in the presence of Allah." This was Rabia. She had tasted divine love and burned in it her whole life. At another time, the governor of Basra, son of Suleiman, sent Rabia a proposal of marriage. His letter said, "In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful, know that Allah has blessed me with a daily income of 80,000 dirhams. It won't take long before I increase this to 100,000. I am wealthy. I will give you everything, my riches, my properties, even more. Will you be my wife? Please reply." But Rabia had no interest in riches, palaces, or jewels. The governor was fooled by the idea that money can open every door. She replied with a letter, "In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful, know that true asceticism brings peace to the heart and soul, but chasing the world only brings sorrow and stress. When this letter reaches you, prepare for your death. No one escapes it by strength. The wise person is the one who does not trade the hereafter for this world. This world never stays with anyone, and it won't stay with you either. Soon, you'll begin a journey you know nothing about. Think about yourself. Don't let others divide your wealth for you. Keep fasting, and let your final breaking of the fast be your death. As for me, even if Allah gave you twice your wealth, I would still not value anything that makes me forget Him for even a second." Yes, in this world, many are so attached to their wealth that it makes them forget their Lord. But soon, they will leave it all behind forever, and their riches will become nothing more than dust in the grave. One day, a Muslim was crying and begging Allah, saying, "O my Lord, please open a good door for me." Noble Rabia heard these words, but her heart felt uneasy, and she gently said, "O heedless one, when was that door ever closed? The door that is truly shut is the eye of the heedless person. Allah's door of mercy is never closed, not even for a moment." On another day, people of knowledge gathered around Rabia. They all stared at her, hoping to learn something. Someone asked, "O Rabia, why don't you get married?" Rabia lifted her dark eyes to the sky and paused for a moment. Then she said, "I will ask you 3 questions. If you can answer them, I'll do what you say." "What are those 3 questions?" "Will I die with faith in my heart? On the day of judgment, will my book be given to me from my right hand or left? When people are divided into 2 groups, one for paradise, one for hell, what group will I be in?" The people answered, "We don't know." Rabia's face lit up with a light impossible to describe. Then what can you expect from someone who is worried about these things? Rabia was enjoying the joys of another world. She had found many pearls in the sea of divine unity. One day, another great scholar of the time visited her. While they were speaking about the deepest spiritual matters, he tried to test her and said, "O Rabia, don't act too proud. You're a woman after all. No woman has ever been made a prophet. All virtues were given to men. They wear the crown of prophethood and the belt of sainthood." Rabia smiled gently and said, "O enlightened one, what you say is true. But pride has never come from women. Pride belongs to men. Was it not Pharaoh, a man, who said, 'I am your highest lord'?" One day, Rabia went crying into the mountains. Deer, birds, and wild animals gathered around her in circles. It was a scene that could shock even the mind. At that moment, the great spiritual leader of the time, Hasan al-Basri, arrived. When he saw the animals gathered peacefully around her, he was amazed. But when the animals saw him, they all ran away. Hasan asked, "O Rabia, why do they run from me but stay near you?" Rabia sighed deeply and said, "O Hasan, because you have eaten their fat. Why wouldn't they run?" Indeed, that very day, Hasan had eaten deer liver. Rabia also once set out to visit the Kaaba. The caravan moved slowly across the sand, and the travelers walked together under the burning sun. But Rabia's heart was burning for another reason, her fear of not reaching the Kaaba. Her camel was weak and couldn't carry her. It had no strength to cross the desert. Rabia couldn't bear it anymore. She got off the camel and began to walk barefoot on the hot sand. The people in the caravan, moved by her strength, said, "O lady, please allow us to carry your things." Rabia shook her head, saying no. They begged again, "O light of our path, please don't reject us." Rabia's face, normally calm, now shone with firm strength. She said, "O generous ones, I didn't begin this holy journey relying on you. The one who sent me on this path will not leave me alone on the way." The road was long. The sun boiled in the sky, and her camel grew weaker with every step. But Rabia's heart was carried by something far greater. When they reached a resting place, Rabia's camel could no longer stand. It lay down and didn't move. With tired eyes, it looked deeply at Rabia, as if to say, "O angel-faced lady, forgive me. I failed you." And then that weak camel died. But how could one reach the beloved without crossing the bridge of hardship? Rabia's suffering was made of separation. While everyone in the caravan slept deeply, Rabia stayed awake. She kept thinking of the long, winding road. These roads, these burning desert, when will they end? Her heart trembled like the white doves in a mosque courtyard. "O my Lord, you are the one who called me to your holy house. But how can I walk these roads now?" Her heart trembled, yet it seemed like a helpless trembling. Her sadness and pain felt pointless. But when the dawn came, suddenly her camel stood up again, alongside the other camels. Hadn't it just died? It took her load, protected her, and began walking once more. It is Allah who places the soul into the body, so why not give it back if He wills? Rabia prayed, "O my Lord, you are all I desire. Then give me the pearl of that desire. Let my heart's night turn into an eternal dawn with the sun of your love." The road twisted and turned endlessly, and in that suffering walked a heart filled with longing. Days followed nights, and nights followed days. The sun gave way to the moon, and the moon to stars. Time flowed like a river, just like the caravan. But the sacred city of Mecca, the cradle of faith, was still far away, and the holy Kaaba was burning like a vision in Rabia's eyes. "O Allah, I have no strength left. My patience is gone. Please, with your mercy, bring your house to me." But how could someone even say such a thing? Even Rabia was surprised by her own words. But the real surprise came after. She looked up and saw the Kaaba coming toward her. The blessed Kaaba stood before her in all its glory. And Rabia still cried, "O Allah, what do I need with the house if you are not with it? I want your light and your approval, not just the building." These were the last words from her lips. Suddenly, a spiritual state came over her. Rabia fell to the ground, lost in divine love. She burned like a handful of longing. Alas, Once again, a moment that shook the minds of men had occurred. Hasan al-Basri, the great spiritual leader of the time, had reached the Kaaba through prayer after prayer. Or had he? Because the Kaaba was not there. If these are truly my eyes, why can't I see the Kaaba? He asked. It was a mystery, a divine secret, a hidden reflection. The great sheikh saw himself lost in the sea of divine presence and entered deep reflection. At that moment, a voice reached his soul. "O Hasan, a beloved servant of Allah turned her face to him, and the Most High sent the Kaaba to her feet." That's all. Hasan al-Basri ran in the direction from which Rabia had come. Two friends of Allah now stood face to face. But it wasn't their tongues that spoke, it was their hearts. "O Rabia," Hasan asked, "how did the Kaaba come to you?" Rabia replied softly, "There are secrets between the lover and the beloved. Speaking of them would be a betrayal." She gave only a short answer. "You came with prayer. I came with longing." Hasan al-Basri, the unmatched leader of the saints, the Sultan of wisdom, often gathered people to speak about the hidden meanings of this world and the next. He would pour divine gems into hearts and make many souls whirl like lovers in a trance. Rabia used to attend those gatherings. One day, another spiritual meeting was held. Everyone had gathered, waiting to be filled with divine love. Hasan al-Basri sat on the pulpit, but he couldn't speak. Many prayers were being whispered. All eyes were on him, but Rabia wasn't there. Would it matter, some thought, if just one woman was missing? But Hasan al-Basri turned his bright, noble face to the crowd and said, "A bite prepared for an elephant. Could it ever fit into the mouth of an ant?" Abdullah ibn Tamar tells, "Once, during Rabia's illness, I went to visit her with Sufyan. As soon as we entered, we were filled with such awe that we couldn't speak a single word. I looked at Sufyan and motioned to him, 'Say something.' Sufyan pulled himself together and asked, 'O Rabia, wouldn't it be good if you prayed to Allah for healing?' Rabia looked straight into his eyes and asked, 'Is my Lord not aware of my pain?' 'Of course he is,' replied Sufyan. 'Then if you know that, how can you ask me to request something against his will?' Sufyan asked again, 'O Rabia, what does your heart desire?' Rabia replied, 'O Sufyan, you are a scholar. How can you speak this way? What do you mean by desire? I swear by Allah, for 12 years my heart has longed for fresh dates. You know that dates are not even expensive in Basra, yet I have never tasted one. Why? Because what if I desire something and my Lord does not? What kind of friendship would that be? I only desire what he wills. I ask for nothing on my own.' Sufyan had no answer. After sitting silently with his head down for a while, he said, 'If I can't speak about your state, then tell me about mine. Say something. What do you see in me?' Rabia responded like a rushing stream, 'If you are not attached to this world, you are a good man. But you love to speak of and engage with material things. O Sufyan, as long as you remain close to the world, how can the door of divine friendship open for you?' Sufyan remained completely silent. Another time, Sufyan asked her, 'O lady, what is the truth of faith?' Rabia answered, 'I do not worship Allah out of fear of hell or hope for paradise like a lowly servant. I worship him because I love him with all my heart.' Someone once asked her, 'O Pearl Sultan, what is your opinion about paradise?' She replied with one sentence, 'My desire is for the Lord of Paradise.' 'How did you reach this level?' they asked. 'By leaving behind what doesn't matter and turning to what is eternal,' she said. On her last day, Rabia slowly opened her eyes and looked upward. Then she said to those around her, 'Leave me alone now. The messengers of my Lord are coming.' One by one, they quietly left the room. Soon after, a voice was heard. 'O soul that has reached peace, return to your Lord. He is pleased with you, and you are pleased with him. Come, enter among my special servants, enter my paradise.' And at that moment, Rabia returned to her Lord. Her difficult life in this world had come to an end. Everyone wept for her. But she had reached her beloved. It was a day of celebration for her. True lovers never die. They simply change worlds. They move into their eternal homes. Later, someone with a spiritually awakened heart saw Rabia in a dream and asked, "Oh Rabia, what did you say to the angels of your Lord?" Rabia answered, "Two angels came and asked me, 'Who is your Lord?' I replied, 'Go back.' And I took refuge in the name of my Lord, saying, 'O Allah, until now I loved you without fully knowing you. How could I not know you now?'" Yes. Rabia had truly known him, truly loved him, and filled her heart with his love. Now she was alive in truth. Her Lord pleased with her, and she pleased with her Lord, standing at the gate of eternal life. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification for more Islamic videos.